Three, two, hold up. One.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Chat About Toronto. We are
Hello.
here one more week with y'all. I am Miss T.
And I am Mel Black Rose.
And this week we are joined by the lovely Shally. Thank you so much for joining us. We are thrilled to have you here with us this week to talk about some stuff. I know you have some new projects coming out and everything else, so we'll definitely talk about that.
Yes, first, I do notice that, I don't know, when I'm looking at you, it looks fine, but I do notice a little bit of a lag thing going on.
Yes, there is.
So I'm going to fix that if you don't mind. Just give me 1 second, okay?
No, because it is a delay. If you close out, we'll fall it out.
It'll freeze me?
Yeah, we'll fall.
Okay, I'm not doing it.
We'll fall right off the screen. But don't worry, there is a lag, but it's just a natural lag because we broadcast through a different platform, right? We're going through Zoom and then to another one, so there's a little bit of a lag.
Okay.
But not too much. They'll still be able to interact. We kind of just wait a little bit for everyone to respond.
No problem.
But yeah, guys, how are you guys feeling this week with all that's been happening? How have you guys been processing it?
I think it's been a very heavy week. I feel like we've been inundated with so much video, so much content that I think that it kind of wears you down. So I've been feeling a little bit worn down. I took a day and a half off social media because I was just like, you know what? All of this is way too much. I can't.
Yeah,
so I just took a break from that.
And what about you, Shally?
I've been taking a break. I do watch, the news, but it's kind of like I watch it, and when I notice it starts to repeat, I don't watch it again for like a day or more because it's just, I see what the media is doing, and I'm not saying that we're not getting any facts, but for example, as we know, people are protesting right now, and when there was some violence that happened at one point, they didn't even have the facts. They just said there's violence happening beside the protest. And to the audience, considering they're showing the violence and they're saying the word protest, it's assumed that, the violence was done by the protesters. But we didn't really have that information. And even when the information comes in or came in, you still have that in your memory that it was the protesters. I take it as just information. I just take from it what makes sense to me, but I don't really make that is everything, that's fact, and that's 100% true.
Yeah,
it can be a lot.
Honestly, it's true. Like I found myself feeling very overwhelmed. Like everyone, I was outraged watching that video. And to be honest, like I kind of stopped watching news and all that stuff for like a few years now because it was just affecting me. Like I would literally be coming home, watching the news and crying every day. I was just like being affected by it. So I stopped watching the news. And I don't really consume a lot of violence and stuff online either because I feel that shit plays on your mind. Like it affects you, right? So I don't usually, but for some reason, when that video came on my feed, like for some reason, I was drawn in by this video. And normally all kinds of other videos have come about and I've just been like, yo, I can't watch that. I'm not going to look at it. But this one grabbed me.
Right.
And so that was the first thing. And then I watched the whole thing and I was like, oh my God, normally I would turn away, but I couldn't turn away. And I feel like there was something so captivating about this particular video that I feel like that's why so many people were touched by it. It's not that it diminishes the lives of anyone else who's, been either violently attacked or lost their lives by the hands of the police. But there's just something, there's every now and then there's just certain examples that come along and they just like grip everyone, right? And I feel like this is just one of those moments. And there's so many countless ones that have been undocumented, unreported that we know of that happen every day, right? But that was one of the things that grabbed me, you know, this video. And it had me, you know, like this for so, probably like a day and a half. I was like so upset. I couldn't concentrate on anything else. I was a mess. And I had to like cut it and just stop looking at stuff, stop looking at the news, pull myself back, you know, and make a conscious effort to not let that energy consume me, you
Right.
know, because it's easy to happen. It's easy.
And I think what bothered me about that is initially, you're right. When I do see like violent videos, someone getting killed by the police, you kind of end up not watching it. But what pissed me off was I was watching this video and I didn't realize I was watching someone about to die. I think that
Exactly.
is what caught me, because I'm like, because I was looking at it, I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I'm upset, and I'm hearing people telling the officer, and I'm like, you know what? So I started going into the comment section, and someone made a comment like, when they dragged his lifeless body. I was like, you have
No.
to be kidding me. I just
Yeah.
witnessed a murder and I was just watching it like it was nothing. I think that's when I was just like, and I just started, I was just bawling, just crying, because I was like, what the hell? Like, what the hell?
That's the freaky thing, because this is real life. And I I try not to watch a lot of violent stuff, but you know, like I find the men want to watch that more. You know, genetic programming, I don't know. And so I do sometimes watch a lot of those things. And I have thought to myself that too, like, am I being desensitized? You know, which I'm sure I am. And now it's like, yeah, I really don't have, it's not even just what we saw, it's the fact that we've been seeing so much of this in the media and on video, that even though you're just angry overall, sometimes you don't even know what you feel because you've just been seeing so much of it. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The value that I'm sort of glad of what's happening in a way, because the value that a life should have, you know, I feel like it doesn't a lot of the time have that value that it should have. I think a lot of the people who are really, really angry though are angry. Some of them have lost people too, and some of them
Yeah.
have lost them the same way, and they're being re-traumatized. And then there's also, you know, the fact that we're in the epidemic right now and everybody's home. Some people are brewing all kinds of
Yep.
emotions, you know.
That's right. You're right. You know, and that's a good point to make too, because we are coming off of a pandemic that we've never experienced before. You know, being on damn near house arrest for the last 2.5 months. Like, so I think you're right when you say like there's a lot of people who are just frustrated in all different areas of their lives, and then this just compounds the issue on top of it. You know,
Mhm.
and it's a scary thing. I feel like, you know, I feel we've been here before. We've rioted and we've cried and we've marched and we've done all this stuff before. But I feel like there's something different about this time. There's this has spread throughout the world. There's different cities all around the world that are protesting right now,
That's
and I
crazy.
think watching everything happen, and then watching like stuff like watching the CNN reporters getting arrested and those types of things when the world is watching, I feel it's like I don't know. There's just I feel like there's something about right now that we are living through that is a changing.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. There's
There's a
major change
shift.
that's happening right now. It's a shift. I can't explain it. It's scary. I don't know how to explain these things to my daughter. I don't know how to prepare us as a family. I don't know, you know. But I feel like the only thing we can do is kind of share our emotions with each other and share our knowledge with each other. Um, I hear a lot of people talking online and just in general, everybody wants to come from this place of like they know so much and they're so enlightened and they knew everything was gonna like they know this and like I'm like, you know what, your ego is fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
Like
Thank
you
you.
don't
Thank
have
you.
to
Yeah.
down anyone for not knowing stuff. Like if you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And if you are someone who feels that you're enlightened or you are somehow, you know, you seek more knowledge than others may have or whatever, share it. You
Right.
know, what without the ego and without the judgment, without all the shit, like calling people sheep and like fuck that. You know what I mean? Like there's not time for that.
And
You know?
the thing, and also it bothers me because in life, you're always growing and you're always learning. So just because you may not, I think maybe this might, because my only issue with society is that they'll see something on social media and then they get outraged. They're not reading into anything. They're not searching for additional information. So that is my main concern about, yes, there is a shift, but I also want the shift where people are educating themselves, because that probably to me is the most important. I don't want this new movement to be because it's popular and, you know, it's the energy that's going on and the whole, you know, stars, everything's all jumbled up. I don't want that to be the issue.
Like it's trending now, you know, like it's cool to be anti-racism. Like we don't want that.
No, I want it
We want
to be
real change about this.
Even within our people ourselves, like Black people in general. I think that a lot of us only know our history from slavery onwards, but even that, they don't even really know like about their great grandmother or their great grandfather. No one's ever even the time, right? So it's kind of like even if it was slavery, there was so many things that we have done and accomplished that we should actually be proud of. And I hope, I'm crossing my fingers that this is a moment where we can actually start valuing ourselves as people and understand that we are important. And sometimes we don't always have to, you're like what you were saying earlier, we have to work, like we have to focus on changing the policy and all of that more than focusing on that. And we as a community ourselves need to start building with amongst ourselves and loving ourselves. That's my only thing from this.
Definitely. And actually, just to touch on that, Killer Mike gave a very earnest talk or speech. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And that's basically what he was saying. He has police in his family, but he also has people who've been victimized in his family. But he was just saying that, you know, instead of destroying our property, especially the property of like Black
where you
people,
live.
why we need to bond together. And actually he had a show about this too, and we need to figure out how to create more businesses and also get into areas where we can change these policies, where we can actually make changes to the way that things are run, instead of just, you know, pointing our finger or, you know, causing mass destruction. Although don't get me wrong, I mean, I do think there is a place for a little bit of I don't know, like almost craziness, to set an alarm bell. But there's like hundreds of people who are causing destruction, and a lot of them actually have nothing. They're not even they don't even know anything about the issue. Like
that's right.
Like you said, they're not educated, or they just want to let off some steam. And in some cases, they are people who think that they're fighting for the right cause, but they're not thinking of the bigger picture, and there's probably still something going on on a personal level, that they're putting into, you know, their actions. So there's so much.
I just feel like after we create this big alarm, and I think like you're right, like when it comes to like, you know, I've always been, you know, a militant minded type of person, because I feel like that's when change happens, right? And I feel like growing up, especially when I was younger, I was even worse than I am now. But I feel like as I've aged, I've kind of come into a thinking where I know you can't fight hate with hate and all that kind of stuff. And so I've changed my thinking, but I do feel that there's a level of uprising that has to happen in order for the attention to be, you know, had before change comes. And I think this is what this is. So,
and you know what, with the uprising, there needs to be solidarity with like all the Black people.
Exactly.
I mean, it would be good
right across the board, right? And I feel like that's what I think this is what's happening now. Like the uprising is happening, but I think following the uprising, like we need to stop the continuation of the destruction, right? I think we did what we need to do in terms of getting attention. I think now what we need to do is strategize. We need to come together, like you said. We need to, you know, 100%. Form our communities the way, build our communities the way we know we need to, and you know, centralize our dollars in our community. There's nothing wrong with building your own community and making sure that economically you are all sound before your dollar leaves the community. That's what every other culture does, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's just the piece that I feel as Black people we've been missing, is that we get together, we've united, we've done all that, and there's, I mean, we have in the States, they've already built, when there was segregation, they already built their own independent banks and everything else. They were destroyed. So it's not that we don't have the ability to do it. they were burned flat to the ground, and they were purposely just like, there's too many obstacles that are purposely put in the Black man's way before, everybody else doesn't always get the same fair chance, and life is not fair, and that's fine. But I feel like now we need to centralize. We need to put ourselves at the forefront to build our community so that we're not in a position to like be relying, and we can change. We can do make some kind of a change, instead of just doing this over and over, like we're running around in a circle.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. So how do
So
you guys feel about I've been seeing a lot of posts of people kind of attacking in a way, and I think kind of forcing non-Black people to actually speak about it and be part of the movement. Um, like you're saying, if you take Black D, then you should be able to speak about, whatever the
Wow.
issue is.
I never heard that one. That's
I
funny.
see it all. I can see. I guess
all day, all day.
maybe my people I follow are a bit too rough. But at first I was like, yeah, and then I thought about it and I said, when that Black man or woman chose their partner, they knew that their partner never cared about Black issues, or it's not like they pretended to be something that they're not, right? And that person accepted them for who they are. Now something is happening, and we're in the community forcing this person who's non-Black. Don't get me wrong, I'm watching you and I'm pointing fingers, but I really don't think that we should be the ones who are forcing their partners to say what they have to say. I think it's the Black partner that should be, if they care and if they do
Yes.
value, they're the ones that should be
They should
addressing the people
lead.
that who they're
Mhm.
sleeping with. Like, don't get me wrong. The way my eye, I'm watching everybody, I'm reading every comment. But I don't
Yeah.
feel like I have to force them to do that. But I just wanted to know your guys' opinions about that.
So I have noticed a lot of non-Black people protesting. I'm actually glad that that's the case. I think now how much of it is real and how much of it is pressure, I guess, is the question, because I thought also that some Caucasian people could be thinking to themselves that if I don't join this, then I'll be perceived to be racist, and that could be a problem for me. So if all my white peers look like they're joining, I better join. I better type something on my, I don't know, Instagram wall, or I better, protest. I better say something. And I'm pretty sure that must be going on because I'm Black, and I've actually even felt that way. Where I put up things that resonated with me, and I knew, like, I don't know if it was yesterday, the day before, I was gonna do that, but I did it like way quicker because I was like, I'm in the public eye as an artist, and I just thought I definitely don't want people to think that I'm just only talking about my music during this time. But at the
Right.
same time, why do I care what people think with me doing what I'm doing? I could be, on the street actually helping people, right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to, and I shouldn't have to feel that I have to show solidarity, online. A lot of people showing solidarity online are fooling themselves into thinking they're doing a lot more than they're doing. That's another thing. You know what I mean? But I do feel that, yeah, there shouldn't be pressure, but I am actually happy to see other people who are not Black protesting, because the truth is that some things are not taken as seriously as they should be until that happens. But then it's like, are we dealing with the issues then?
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like there's definitely a level of allyship that has to happen in order for change to come about. And I think initially the request for people who are, especially the people who are benefiting financially from Black culture, I think
Mm.
that was initially the call out, is that there's so many artists, so many people who, live and breathe this culture, that don't necessarily come from this culture, and they don't always speak out when there's issues, right there. And so that, I think, is the initial call. But I think you're right, when it comes to people's response, then it ends up being sometimes a forced thing, or just for the visuals. It's just smoke and mirrors. I'm just going to make sure I say something so that they don't think I'm racist, or that I don't lose my Black audience, or whatever like that. So I do think there is a level of that happening. Posting about it is great, and I think people who have large audiences, I think it's good for people to just know where they stand, right? as little as it may seem, um, there's people who look up to them and who were influenced by them. And so if they can by somehow see that, whoever they align with is looking at this as something wrong, then maybe that could jog a thought, because people are sometimes ignorant more so than racist. So maybe that from that perspective it can help. But I think, overall, I want to see more change systemically than just people's opinions, and letting you know that I stand with you. I'm glad to see that, because I know it does have impact. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's why a lot of the like, even when you hear like the different mayors speaking out, the different police chiefs and all these people saying stuff, and saying that they support the protesters, it has weight, right?
Yeah, it does.
Even though they may not necessarily be making big strides or changes, it does carry weight. So I think it's good that we show, that we have some allies from the other races to show that
Right.
it's not just us fighting. Because guess what? When other people of color or any other injustices are happening, we're fighting. It doesn't matter that it's not happening to us, right?
Mhm.
We champion for the LGBTQ community, no problem. So it should be the same thing, and it's the same kind of thinking where everybody had to get on board with that, right? Everybody wasn't always pro gay, lesbian, and all that. So everybody was not there, but we're there now.
People still, I don't know, we're still
No, exactly. There's a lot of people who have wrong, right?
A lot of it is forced as well, but
Allyship helped the movement, right?
Yeah, it did. It did. But
It
I
did.
just want to I just want to apologize to everybody who's watching.
Yes.
Tess is not gone. Tess is not. We didn't kick her out. And everybody's asking where Tess is. She's just not here today. Tess is our lovely host. Tess is just not in today, but we're still repping with Chat About.
She's busy, y'all. Like, damn, the girl got
people got things to do. Okay.
We can't always be sitting here on a Sunday, you know what it is. Well, we do have a substitute today that is our lovely guest, Shally, who is a singer, songwriter, and performer, hailing from Toronto, right?
Yep.
Originally.
Yep. Yep. I'm from Toronto. I like a lot of us. My parents are from the Caribbean, Jamaica and Dominica, and I don't know what you guys want to know about me, but I am on every social media platform. My music is everywhere. So you just need to type in my name, Shalli, or Shalli sings, SINGS, and you'll find me.
How do you actually pronounce it? Because I think I keep on not wanting to say it because I keep on feeling like I'm saying your name wrong.
How do you say it?
Girl, don't even try.
Shally.
No, please tell me.
It is Shally, but the rest of them like to stick with Shally. So it is Shally though. It's Shally. It is Shally. But I let them do that. I let the Rastas call me Shally, but it is Shally. Like Bruce Lee, but Shally in terms of the pronunciation. And I'm not sure what
so you have a new project coming out. A new album.
Yes,
and a single dropping soon, right?
Yes. I'm more excited about this new music coming than I've been since I started. And a lot of it is because I feel like I finally got a lot of the sonics to a whole nother level where I want them. It's showing a lot more of my, I guess, musical and vocal personality. There's a lot more R&B. There's a lot more of hip hop sound also. Then there's still a lot of people know me for mixing reggae and R&B pop together. So there's still some of that, but it's not sounding like what you heard before. It sounds, I feel like, better. So June 5th, I'll be releasing the first single from that album, which will come out in August. The first single is called On One.
Okay, girl.
I listen to it actually. It's a vibe still. I like it.
I like it too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys got a first as a tastemaker. You got a little sneak peek of the song.
I feel special. So we got a world premiere.
The exclusive.
Actually, yeah.
What did you? Well, I'll tell you what the song's about for the listeners, but you tell me.
Yeah, let us know what the song is all about.
So the song generally centers around a relationship, but it really is about just doing everything that you needed to do, getting yourself to a place where you feel good, like work wise, um, your self esteem, and just, you know, climbing to that up top of that mountain, and you're about to be like, yes, but then someone is ready to, you know, inject some negativity. So the haters are there. So it's kind of the chorus says they just mad that we on one over and over and over again, basically.
Mhm.
And I, the way that I want to, you know, promo the song is going to be more of a grassroots thing, where it's really about being on one with accomplishments that you've made, you know, and just not letting anybody tear you down.
Right.
You know, so that's basically the bottom line of that song. And
Movements. That's what we're
that's where
about.
I'm, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I feel so different than I even did like 2 years ago. I
Mhm.
just feel like I'm just ready to give it my all and just connect and just open up. And the album itself also just, it feels that way. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited to put out this music June 5th. Look out for the new single On One everywhere that you could find music,
On
basically.
all musical platforms.
Yep.
And how long have
And
you been doing music, Shally? How long has it been
yeah,
since you started?
I've been doing music like all my life, but
Really?
yeah, but I mean, I think things started to really take a spin for me in about 2009. I think,
Okay.
especially locally, as well as in the Caribbean and some places overseas. At the time, I did a lot of reggae music, and people were a bit confused because I vocalize like more of an R&B singer. I
Oh, wow.
have a little patois in there, but the music was still all reggae. So they were like, okay, are you a reggae artist? Are you an R&B artist? And I really, you know, at the time, I feel like I was in a similar category um, musically as Rihanna, just blending the elements. And I've
Yeah,
basically,
fusion, kind of. Yeah.
yeah, and I've continued to do that. So for me, yeah, so 2009, that's kind of when things kind of popped a little for me and I started to
Nice.
get
So it's
some
been over
traction.
10 years. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. That's
That's good. So
yeah,
amazing.
you've definitely evolved and grown and learned some stuff in life
totally.
that's probably like featured in your music now, right? That's part of the maturity of your music.
Right.
Definitely. And they always say that every 10 years, there's a huge shift. And it's like, you're
Yeah,
like, oh, yeah, whatever, you know, da 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 da. But literally,
you feel
at the
it.
10-year mark, you're
Right.
just like, oh my gosh, you know what? Like, this is not going to work anymore. I want to do this. I'm going to figure it out. And then, you know, I don't know. There's something about 2020 also that's just, I just knew
Yeah,
this year was going to be so different. Like I just felt like my whole life and everything is just going to change.
Right.
And well, look at how things are going so far. So
it's
just
been one
turn
hell
on
of
the
a
news,
year.
people. Yeah, and just and for me, I feel like it has, but it started up here and in here. And you know, I've done some personal work also. So
Do you
yeah.
feel that people kind of now like see how you started off with a little bit of reggae, now you switch to more R&B and hip hop? Do you feel like people are putting you in a box? Like, do you feel sometimes that
Um,
you, as an artist,
I was very afraid of that at the beginning,
right,
um, because well, for one, I didn't even figure out who I was as an artist, and I listened to so many different types of music that
right,
almost everything I did, I was like, but I don't want them to think that this is all I'm going to do. But I don't want them to think this is all I'm going to do. I don't want to think this is all I can do. And so the reggae thing, even taking that route, although it's part of my heritage, it kind of happened organically. But I did feel that way because I'm like, I'm not the typical, or I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not a typical reggae artist. Like I was born in Canada and I'm not going to speak patois in every interview. So yeah, I was very, I was
Oh
like,
man, that's the worst.
totally. But I was always very real. And so actually I garnered the respect and the love of quite a few, you know, people in the reggae community in Jamaica as well, just because I was just honestly and organically being myself. So yeah, definitely I feel that way. But this is a good time right now where I feel like things are opening up more than they ever have. And there's a lot more acceptance for different styles. You can almost do almost anything and find your group, especially online. So
I agree. I think there's just we're in a time now where uniqueness is celebrated. So this is just the best damn time to do
yeah,
you,
exactly.
right? It's just
Exactly.
that's the best way. think
So
that's
right now I'm just moving organically, just sound wise, just doing what I want to do. And I'm listening to the feedback of my fans too. But
Okay.
yeah.
yeah.
Sounds
Wicked.
good.
Well, that's wicked. So y'all better check out the single. It's dropping June 5th. Make sure you check it out. It's called On One. Follow Shali and follow her page, YouTube. She's on YouTube, on Instagram. She's everywhere. She's on everything,
Do it.
right?
Yep.
Yes.
Let's get into these damn questions, girls, because honestly, we got some scenarios.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, so first thing I wanted to was touch on the comments because we had a couple that we didn't get to. So Garth was saying that as a Black community, we have to demand more from those running for office. Every other ethnic group is organized, so they get their voices heard. We have to do the same. I agree with you, Garth. That is absolutely right. You know, we have to systemically get ourselves where we need to be, so we can be heard. You know.
I agree.
And yes, Tess does have stuff to do.
Yes, you know, see, Tess hot girl. Tess have things to do.
Tess is wildin'. No, she's not. But anyway, okay, so the first scenario we had, this one was one that it touched me because I'm a parent. So this one kind of had me a little bit hot, but let me read it for you.
Okay.
So this one says, I have a son already, and I'm now pregnant by my fiance. He asked and recommended that I give my first child to his father so we can start our family anew, just the three of us. I'm feeling torn and confused. What would you do?
First of all, I'd slap that woman in her face. Slap her, but if it was me, like, if you're dating me and I have a child, my child is included too, period. There's no other conversation about it, because if you want to start a new family without adding my family from the past, then that means you don't care about the whole of me. So
right?
People are going crazy in the comments, by the way.
Because this one is bananas. Like,
bye.
I can't even.
You're right.
I can't even imagine.
So what would
now this is the dream man, eh? This is the dream man. This is the man that you've been molding yourself for. And he comes along and he says that he just wants you and your new child. That child can come over on your first child can come over on weekends.
Well, Mel is very decided. I am too. I'm decided to. So first of all, how old? You said child, so I'm going to assume it's a child because I was going to say how old is this kid?
Let's say 4, 5.
Yeah, no. Definitely, yeah. You as a woman, and by the way, I don't have any children. Okay, but I don't know how to explain it. I have a soul womb connection to a lot of women who have children. I'll say that. And from the time, first of all, you tear your body apart to bore a child, and that child is attached to you, and look, every time it sees you, its eyes light up. How could you just dash it way to the dad? Now, I'm assuming there's some custody agreement with that already, but for a man to suggest that, I think that's disgusting. And then you want to tear apart my body again to have another child, but you want them to be separated, and then the other child that I have is going to have emotional issues because I pushed him away for a man. That's a problem. Sorry, I didn't want to say this because I don't have no children. But if I were to even dating that when the child is that young is hard. That's not a simple thing for the child.
Yes.
No. So no.
Agreed.
That's not cool. It's not cool. I would definitely question that man after that. I don't know. That would be a big problem.
These are the reasons why I took so long to even start dating, because I was single for a long time before I ever started dating, because this is exactly why. Because nobody is going to tell me that my child is not coming with us. Okay? There's no effing way.
And that's not a dream. That's not a dream choice of a man if his heart is thinking like that. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, exactly. Like he could have every single other trait that I love, But you see,
Right.
that will erase it all.
How is he going to treat the child that you have with him?
Thank you.
And then what happens if your
I will
relationship?
slice your back open if you fuck with my kids. So
Mm.
we have problems. We got
But what
problems.
would happen if he ends up leaving you? Like, you have to look like, if that situation, so is he going to ignore your child now because he starts a new relationship with somebody else?
If who leaves?
If the
You
guy
mean if
leaves
the new
you,
man?
so the new man that you started this new life with, and he told you to abandon your child, just say you do it, right? And then your relationship with this man doesn't work out. So you already had the child for him. Now he's gonna start. He obviously, for some reason, men can be women in no time. No time. So he will go to this new family and think about he's gonna do the exact same thing to your child. He's gonna start his new family. He's gonna ignore you.
And forget all about the past that he's left behind. That's
Oh, man.
disgusting.
It just,
But
it's
in the
just,
comments,
no.
everybody's going wild in this comment.
Yeah.
They're like, that's no dream.
I
That's
never,
no dream,
no
man.
man. I'm just thinking, like, what is a man providing that would make you turn your back on your child? That doesn't make any
Nothing.
sense.
Yeah,
Nothing.
No, the
You know
dick
what?
is
There's a
not
lot
that
of
good.
women
I'm
though
sorry,
who are
like
in
it's
that
not. It's
position,
crazy.
and they do it. A lot of women do it. You
But
know,
what are they relying on the new man though for financially? Maybe that's
Could
part of the
be.
problem.
could be. Sometimes it's just easier because they just fall in love with this man, and it's just like they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want him to leave. Just like they feel like he's the man of the dream man, whatever the case is. And so, and then like then they start to rationalize that, you know, the kids are gonna be okay. They'll be with their father.
Mm-mm,
You know,
it's not
Yeah.
he
right.
loves them
They'll be
too.
fine. Yeah.
Especially if it's a boy. Well, he needs his father now. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of shit that goes down. And I'm not saying that they don't. I think both kids need their parents regardless.
Yes.
You
Right.
know, but a lot of justification starts to go down, you know. Where,
hmm
you know, financially to work out better.
I mean, I guess I mean, okay, to play devil's advocate, I mean, if a woman, you know, there's some women that literally like they've just been downtrodden in the relationship department. They might have had a little fling, then they had their child, and they still really haven't had a proper relationship where they felt loved. So I can see how someone maybe psychologically could be impacted, like, you know, on a way bigger scale than, you know, the average person. But again, like, you know, I feel like you have to look at yourself. How would you feel if you were a child in that situation? And none of that, that's your flesh and blood, right?
That's right.
Anything can happen. And if you're not even in tune with the father that much, how do you know that child's going to be safe and you just dash him
You
away
don't
like that? That
know.
doesn't make no sense.
You just dash away your picnic and just say, let me go into the sunset with my new man. Anyway, some of the
Yeah, we need
comments.
another question because I have to fix my face. My
Some
face
of the
looks screwed.
I'm gonna go through some of the comments. Garth was saying she's confused. Cam, hey Cam. She
Cam.
said he shouldn't have dated her in the first place if her first child was an issue. Mota says more like Freddie, man of your nightmares.
For real.
Oh my God.
Any woman willingly give up their child in order to keep a man deserves whatever she gets. Damn.
And man, I feel it's
I
the
didn't
same
say
because
that.
you know what? There's a lot of men who do the same thing. Who they turn their backs. They're like they want this new woman. Like I've had stories where the new wife is like, your kids.
Yes.
Like I'm not dealing with the kids. Like they have a mother, and she's just they barely even want them to come into the house, you know. And there's a lot of men who concede to that, and they're like, okay. And I get angry when I hear that kind of stuff because it goes both ways. Like,
well, that surprises me. That surprises me a little less, though. Unfortunately, our society has kind of they train men to believe that, well, there is them being responsible for their child is like a good deed, and that if they, you know, want to take a break, they can, or whatever.
Exactly.
And a lot of times when they date a woman, they might not even say that they have a child for a very long time. Whereas a woman, whereas a woman, if they're in care of the child, they can't hide that really. So which is usually the case. You know?
Right. Like I know this is like, what would you do? But I have this like interesting story that happened. I know someone who's really close to me whose father sponsored him from Ghana, and he was already remarried with another woman. And so when he got here, he was maybe a teenager and he was living in the house. Like, can I tell you, this woman refused to feed him,
Wow.
refused to give him any food. She would hide food. He wasn't allowed to touch it. Like, it was so, like, when I heard that story, I was just like, how can
That's sick.
a father allow it? And the father never said anything about it. He just let it rock. So obviously
That's so
he came
sad.
here, went to high school, worked, and everything he had to do on his own. So can you imagine that psychological trauma that someone like that would have to experience?
Have to
You know,
deal with.
you're coming from another freaking country, for goodness sakes. But
And
You
your
know
dad
what?
has a whole family when you get there.
No, that's
Oh my
crazy. Yeah.
God.
But that father, even if he was alone with the kid, doesn't sound like he would have been doing a very good job. Like,
no,
even though he did sponsor his child, you'd say that he loves his child, he sponsored his child, but he's not in tune with the child. Like, it's just some child that he had or something.
Exactly.
You know?
And a lot of men don't have that attachment, There's some,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say a lot, but there are some men who don't have that.
That's why they need to watch the
connection.
birth. There's no
you know, they
way.
just sometimes they're just sitting in the waiting room. They're just chilling in the waiting room, waiting for the time to just
Right? Eating
finish, and then
popcorn
just
or something.
Cake
Watching
singing.
football. You know?
But
Hey,
now they
this is
gotta
it for
be
all the
real, 'cause
men.
I don't think anybody letting their husband out that room or their man out the room anymore. Like, now you squeezing the fuck out of their hand and shit. Like, you stay right here, because you have to inflict some of that pain on them too.
It's so true. Okay, so this is the next what would you do?
Yes.
You get into an argument with your man. The argument gets heated, but you guys were arguing and his mother was there. Okay? So the mother comes because she's upset, and then she slaps you in the face.
So, she slaps who?
You.
Okay.
Not her son, by you. You too. What would you do? What would you do in that situation?
Miss T, go ahead.
Okay, so the way how my reflexes are set up, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be a forehand or a backhand, but my hand just might,
Slap her back?
like my reflex would make me slap that back. Okay, but you know what? The things that would okay, I'm gonna be real. The things that would make me think about that situation. What did I say? If I said something that was very vile and I deserve a slap, then I might rethink if I'm a slap back. First things, because I have a very filthy mouth, so I might say something. I might have said, depending on the situation. The other thing that's gonna make me think if I'm gonna slap her back is how big is he? And chances are he's big, because I like big men. So if it's him and her against me, I'm getting fucked up. So then I have to think about, this is his mother. So anybody boxing a mother, like, you're getting rushed to the floor. So these are the things that would be, going through my mind while thinking about if I should box her back. But honestly, that's like my natural reflex, because knowing myself, I would not have said something disrespectful. I would probably have just been being very direct. So if I got slapped, it would more than likely be, not that I'm always right, but it would more than likely be out of line for her to slap me. And so, yes, I would be looking at my safety and how I could effectively box her in her face and be, out
effectively box. Don't kill me right now.
I am a pussy. I say it. I'm the biggest pussy you'll ever fucking probably meet. So I would probably just take the slap and go cry. And if he doesn't address his mother, and doesn't say anything to his mother, or even just tell her, like, Mom, stop, kind of hold her back or something, I think my relationship with him would be done. That's it. Because obviously I know, like, his loyalty to me is not there. And especially in a conversation where you're not included, and I would never insult anybody's parents, to their face. I would never. So I don't feel like, no, bye. Today is just bye. Everything is bye for me today. Bye. You
See,
go, girl.
y'all gave me a little bit of an advantage because I heard your answers. So now I'm like,
Perspective.
yeah. I mean, the mother would be an old lady. I definitely
What if she wasn't? What if she was like a young thing that goes to dances still?
The money.
I'm
She
trying
want
to be
boxing
nice.
face.
Okay, I'm trying to be nice. I guess, I mean, reflex wise, it's true. I don't think I'd necessarily think to slap, but I probably want to
I would want to,
restrain the
yeah, you want to,
hands.
yeah, my natural reaction
Um,
would be to come at her.
yes, and I would definitely be looking at the dude that I'm with. Because if he doesn't do, it's true. This is what you just said. If he doesn't do anything to defend me, we're gonna have a serious problem after that. The other part, and that's the thing though, that's a fishy one because if she's an older lady, which she would be likely older than you, depending on who you're dating, you're right though. You could be dating an 20-year-old or something.
I like
But
young
let's
guys,
just
so I mean,
right. I ain't 20, So if you're, maybe. But then there's another part where I would definitely I'd probably freak out and start yelling for sure. I'd probably be really angry. And if I don't know, where am I? Where am I when this happens?
In the house.
At
Yeah,
their
in
house.
the house. Yeah. At your house with your partner.
At
And the
my
mom
house.
is over. Yeah. And the
Oh
mom
no,
is
she
over.
has to leave. She has to leave. And I don't think that I don't think I'll be talking to her for a while. If we are still staying together, even if she felt remorseful or whatever, I need some time for that one. Slapping your hand, slapping your arm, even a jab in the arm or a push is not the same as slapping your face. As a woman, you could probably remember maybe if you had a certain mother that I only had been slapped in my face by my mother once, and I still remember it to this day. And it hurts me more. It hurts me more than other reprimands that I got. I don't know what it is. I just felt so, yeah. So people, you just can't come and slap people in the face. You just can't.
Yeah. No. I've never been slapped in the face. And so I feel like the shock of getting slapped in my face would make me want to fight immediately.
This is what I'm saying. That's a hard one.
It's really hard. If she's an older lady though, I probably wouldn't because she's older. I would still carry on though.
Yeah, definitely.
My parents have never beat me. The only thing I freaking got was a slap. How would this woman, big woman, want to come slap me up? No, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
And you see, sometimes I think, and I'm not saying that we every day see mothers slapping in-laws or someone who's not their direct child on the face. However, there are some people who they're older and they just think they could just do whatever, dude.
Whatever, exactly.
Even with their own child, if you're grown, grown, you're past 25. Oh no, that is not cool. It is not cool.
It is not. My daughter is 20 years old now, Lord. She's 20. And I have never dealt with her like that. I am about respect, you know what I mean? And she knows how to handle me. I know how to handle her. But I've never call off and slap her. That's crazy. That's why ugh.
And then you wonder how the mother treated the guy that you're dating.
Right.
Because if you could do that to me, you don't even really know me like that. What are you doing to either the guy I'm dating or his sister or something? I don't know. You're not right. Something's wrong with you.
What kind of animal are you? So we got comments.
I forgot. This is a scenario. It's a scenario. It's not real life.
Some of the comments.
I know, right? She's like, I'm hot. Read the comments though.
Alicia says, if she goes to dance, then it's more than a slap you're getting. She's
kick off.
Cap says, I would have to control myself. Junior says, you're boxing first. It's just natural selection. And everybody else is just running away and putting these emojis. So I'm assuming that they're just like, holy shit, that's an awkward situation.
That's a serious one.
It is.
Yeah. Because it could happen. So, okay, this is the third one. So if you could be famous, but you would be poor, would you still do it?
I have the answer for this one. At least my answer.
Go.
If I could be famous, but no, I would not be famous. First of all, I know I'm a singer and stuff like that, but actually, I admire people who make a lot of money and can look cute at times, but they could walk down the street and nobody recognize them. And like Queen Latifah's actually talked about being able to do that. And I'm like, I think that's amazing. Like, I think that that is like exactly what you want. If I rather have money and be able to take care of my life and other people than be poor and be famous. I don't want to be famous actually more than so, unless it's bringing me money, because fame is a huge responsibility. It's what's the word? It is it can be a burden. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, but money can be a burden too, but you can, you know, strategize to use it the right way. But fame can bring you money. So that's the thing. Would you be famous and poor? I mean, if you knew how to use fame properly, it could bring you money, but not. I'd rather have money and not be famous if I could.
That's what I think for me too, like I if I have a craft or some type of thing that I'm good at, that is what I would want to be famous for and making money for. So if I'm being famous to just be poor and I'm actually pouring out my heart to even just let people hear me sing, dance, whatever I choose to do, nah, man, no. I will do that. I will show my skills and teach little kids and find another way to make money. Cause like fame is, I feel like we're so fixated on, not us, but like just in general, like a lot of people just are so fixated on this social media fame and just being this particular person. Why would I want to be on every single time to be poor? Do you know how expensive foundation is? Do you know how expensive it is? Like, I'm sorry. Or even get your makeup done by somebody, I would have to do that like how many times a week? No, I'm sorry. I'm good, love.
I'm like that too. I don't even with me being me, I don't wear makeup every day, and I don't want to be on full on presentation on the toilet. Like I don't. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, horrible metaphor, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. What if the fame wasn't necessarily from your skills? It wasn't necessarily from like, it was just like everybody knows you. Everybody knows who you are.
I don't want that.
Like Jesus.
Or Jesus, like, even Jesus didn't ask to be. Jesus didn't ask to be here. God ordained him to Mary. So no.
No, he became more famous after he died. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he didn't influence the world, but it's when he died that actually in some weird ways his enemies even helped to make him more famous. You know what I'm saying?
They started quoting him and using him as an example for peace. Had we heard this story now today, where people keep on using MLK, oh, you know, MLK would never be a part of that. And they're actually like fighting with his own children where he
online.
actually
I know I saw that.
You're like,
facts.
It's crazy.
Sorry.
I was thinking about it. Initially, I was thinking that because I'm with you. I've always said that I would rather be anonymous and rich because I could do a lot more with the money and be a blessing that way, right? But when I thought about the question, I'm like, well, if you had fame, then you could probably have influence. And that would be equally beneficial, I feel.
That's an interesting take.
Because being famous, you may not need to have any money because everybody knows who you are. So you don't need to spend anything.
So then you just get everything free, like Will Smith when he's on the cover of Architectural Digest. You know that he didn't have all those things in there before the article. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. How about a house?
It could be that too, right? You could just use your fame for, you know.
Yeah.
That's a good way through life. Just finesse because you're famous. Like you don't need to pay. You don't have to pay your meals. You don't have to anything because everybody's just clamoring for you to be in their space.
Where would you live when you're getting all these free material objects?
I'm gonna get a free condo right outside the CN Tower, bro. Like what do you need?
Oh, you'd be on that show where you're poor and they build you a house and Oprah helps and you know those shows where you just, and it's all sponsored. So I guess if you could live that life, but my privacy, nah, man. I still live in Canada.
I know.
I need to go for a hike, and you need to leave me alone sometimes.
You're giving up a lot by being famous, but it's the no money part that makes everybody say, "Oh, no, I don't want that." Right? But it could be you could still live a Kim Kardashian life and or a Kylie Jenner life and not really be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but what would happen if What happens when you get old and your appeal of being famous is not important anymore? What happens
Say that
then?
again?
What happens when you get old? And just say you've been so used to getting sponsorships and not actual monetary funds. So you technically have all this stuff, but you don't really have any money, right?
What do you need money for if you have your stuff?
The what? Sell it?
If I have stuff, what do I need money for?
But when you get old, no one's gonna care about you if you're famous.
I have stuff already. What do I need them for?
How about the condo company says we don't need you anymore because
because when I was famous, I
would
have organized. Because when I was famous, I would have organized for them to put that shit in my name. That's mine.
It's so
I'm not waiting until I'm old and tired and nobody wants to hear from me again and be like, yo, remember that place you gave me? And they're like, what? Oh, we gave your place? I'll take that shit back. No, I'm gonna make sure that, I'm line up.
I don't know.
You have to use your fame the right way. You have to finesse it. You know what I mean?
Listen, peace for me. I feel like the peace of mind, and maybe I am a little bit of a recluse sometimes, but the peace of mind of being able to be alone, alone is like I need that in my life. Like I need that in my life. I
You
wouldn't
could be
trade
alone
that
and
for
be
nothing.
famous. Cardi B alone when she gets at home. She alone. She by herself in her room.
At some point, I guess so. But I don't know. And I know you guys are like, well, that's where things are going, Shally.
What you gonna do when you blow?
Shit.
Honey?
No, when I do, then I do. But if I had to choose, and when I do, I hope to have money. But if I had to choose being poor and famous, now don't get me wrong, if I was poor, would I try to maybe use fame to get money? Maybe. But if I had a choice, and you can always use money to get back fame very fast.
Because the question wasn't, would you choose to be poor and famous or rich and anonymous?
That's true.
The question is, if you could be famous, but you were going to be poor, would you still want to be famous?
So poor and not famous or poor and famous?
Right.
Nah. You know what? I have some deep answers like about fame and stuff, like just looking at what it does to people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just don't think it's good for you. So it's, especially if you're a kid or something like that, all those kids grow up and most of them end up kind of messed up in the brain because too much stimulation early. And if you're older, same thing. It's just not, I don't think your brain is designed to constantly be seeing yourself and hearing about yourself. And it's just a lot. But I think that I would, if I were poor and not famous, I think that the journey that I would have would probably be a healthier one than if I was poor and famous.
Did any of you guys watch Last Dance with Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he even said if he could do it all over again, he would just play basketball and not worry about the whole like superstar fame thing because it comes with a lot of stuff. Like it's not, even though he's rich, but that's, I feel like someone like
that's
him
one of the pluses, but there's so much other shit,
Right. So that's just my opinion. So the next question would be is if you were with someone for 5 years, but it was just an average relationship, and then you meet someone that for the last 5 months has been everything you wanted. Now you have to decide, who are you going to move on with? Would you leave the relationship you're with for 5 years to see where it's going, or go with the 5 months? The person that you met 5 months ago. Guys, take a moment to think about that. Heaters.
That's an interesting one. So you're 5 years average relationship, not really nothing special, but you're in this 5 year, and then you meet somebody that has like everything. But it's a short time you're with them.
5 months.
So sorry. So you cheated on the first one?
You're cheating on your partner.
You're cheating now.
Yeah.
You're cheating, and you're at a crossroads.
I feel like I already messed up the first relationship by going with this next person, man. Even if I wanted to try to continue.
The person doesn't gotta know.
Listen. This is where things get revealing. I've already been in situations like that. Trust me. You don't have to tell nobody nothing. And it's just
you compromise the relationship.
You don't after a while even feel too right, especially if you're getting it good from someone else. How are you going to fake it in the boring one?
No, you can't. You can't.
I don't think you can. But go, I don't know if that answers the question, really.
Yeah, it does. You said you're gonna leave, right? Instead of just cheating, because clearly you're not satisfied. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, but you're already saying I'm already involved with this other guy.
Yes. Yes.
So either
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the guy that I'm with that I made the mistake, I'm gonna stay with him, or I don't say anything
hold
and
on, pause. What? You're gonna tell the guy that you're with that you made a mistake and stay
and
with him?
stay with
Oh,
him,
honey, that's not gonna happen.
which wouldn't work. Or I'm not gonna
It'll
say
never
anything,
work.
which might not work. Which yeah, I do see the only option is probably taking a chance with this new guy. I don't
No, the
see it.
other option is staying quiet and just riding it out with
I
5
can't do
years and just don't say nothing.
And for an average relationship, what motivation do you even have? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna. I couldn't do it. If I did, I think that somehow down the line, I just like, you know, when you do things and you're not conscious of it, but you just do it anyway. I'd
Yeah.
subconsciously find myself out of that first relationship if I stayed.
Yeah.
I think
I think if I was going through this whole extent to have a 5-month relationship with somebody else while I'm in the relationship with somebody else, clearly I'm not happy and I need to just leave that the 5-year relationship. I know the grass is definitely not greener on the other side, but I just say fuck it. Let me try a thing and hope for the fucking best because I'm a cheater. I'm a cheater now. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna go home after the whole time I go and hug him every night. Why? I'm a cheater. I'm cheating. I know it. I'm not happy. I'm not
You're
happy because I'm cheating. He's not satisfying me. Bye. Bye.
Don't kill me,
that was
Mel.
see, I didn't see that side of Mel yet. You know? Don't kill me. Aye. But once you get back into 5 months and you dump the other guy, then you could be not a cheater again.
Exactly. But will he trust me though? Because he know that I was.
No, he didn't know.
Oh, he
Nobody
didn't know.
knew. Either one of them knew.
Actually, cheating on both of them. You're right. Jeez.
We're cheaters.
Either way. Either way, you're cheating. Whether you go with it,
I give up.
The first guy or the second guy, you cheating because you was with both of them.
That's kind of messed up.
I feel like it's difficult because in that situation, like it's time served versus time spent in a way because you have time with this first person, a significant amount of time. Like 5 years is a good chunk of time, right? But it's like average. It's not really like, you know, it's an existence at this point. Mm-hmm. And then you meet somebody who's like, oh my God, this person is everything. But we all know in the beginning, everybody's always everything in the beginning. So that would be playing on me. Like, I'd be like, but are you going to change? Like, you're going to change up. Like, it's just a matter of how much and when and all that stuff. So I would be like,
5 months is a long beginning. And that's the problem. If you told me I just met the person and I don't know, I felt this for them. I talked to them on the phone and I felt something starting. At that point, I feel like, okay, is it worth it to take a chance to ruin what I built? Or, you know what I mean? But 5 months, to me, you've built a whole thing. Like, you should probably know that person pretty well, unless they're a con artist or something like that.
You know what I mean? Them, but 5 months is still, to me, really a short time because everyone's still on their best behavior.
It's too long to go back. I mean?
Too long. Unless they're 2020, then they acting the fuck up. But, you know, within 5 months, most people are still, you know.
Well, you're not going to get married. You're not going to get married in 5 months.
Huh?
Sorry, you're not going to get married in 5 months.
But, no, you're not. Exactly. So in that period of time, you're still dating. You're just now casually seeing each other. You know, you're still, you're kind of building up. Like 5 months is, I don't know. I don't think that's enough time for me to decide that I want to be with somebody full time. Even if I was single and dating for 5 months, I'm seeing where it goes, but I haven't decided that 5 months definitively if this is like a yes for sure.
So what would you do? Keep on cheating?
Probably. No, I'm not a cheater. That's the thing. I'm not a cheater. I'm a end one and start the next one type of person. I don't like to drag things into something else. But given the scenario, we don't have a choice. So we're cheating in the scenario. If that was the case, I'm already cheating. I'm gonna just write it out because I need to know for sure that this is the person that I should be going with.
So writing it out, don't you think you've already made a decision pretty much? Because you writing it out,
No, because I
even
might say
if you
something
can go
different.
back, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't
The
know how
same.
it's gonna be. You've
It
already
probably won't
drifted
be.
off. That's a
It probably
long.
won't be because I mean,
Yeah,
it probably won't be the same. But at the same
that's a
time, I feel
catch
like
22.
yeah, like to let go of like it's like giving up shore for unsure, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like
I can just gonna go into the comments. Miss Susie says everything fresh is always exciting at first.
yeah.
Cam was saying I'll try to create an open relationship. Cam.
Cam, don't kill me. How you gonna
um,
introduce that one, Cam?
right? It says when it starts in chaos, it'll end in chaos.
Yes.
That was from Christina. And then they're having a conversation amongst themselves with Cam. Alicia says mentally you've already made your decision who you really want.
Yeah,
I guess so, right? Just by even entertaining the new person, you kind of already
Yeah.
made the decision. You're just
Yeah,
kind of
because
hoping that time will confirm what your decision is that you've made.
like I said, I'm not a cheater. I haven't been, but I have been in the scenario in the past.
Yeah.
And just from my own experience, and in a weird way, I'm glad I had the experience because I already know, like, it just it doesn't really work. Even if you're like, oh, I made a mistake, this 5 month guy isn't gonna work, you're gonna go back and just act like everything's normal. And that whole time you've been acting like everything's normal, you've already set
Yeah.
up another dynamic in your relationship, which even if you didn't say anything, it's just not going to be the same. It's just
Yeah.
not
The
gonna be.
energy is
Maybe.
broken. The
Well, some
energy.
people might say it would be better. I don't know. Some people will say the sex got better. I don't know. After I cheated,
It
I've heard
might.
things like
It
that.
might. Right. You come
But
back. You learn
yeah,
some new stuff. You come back.
And you're like, ooh,
Lick your
yeah.
face.
Until
who
he
are
realizes,
you?
oh
Who
Lord,
are you? Who's this guy? Anyway, um, the
The
next
last.
question.
it's so wrong. This is
Next
so wrong,
question.
guys.
This one is a weird one. Okay, so if you had to choose between moving to a new city every month or never leaving the neighborhood that you were born in, which would you choose?
Oh,
So it's either constant change, constantly moving, new place to be, new settling in, you know, new people in your life all the time, or the same people in your life for the rest of your life.
for the rest of my life.
Forever?
That's the hard
Forever,
part.
Ever,
I almost want to know what's in the comments before I even say anything because that's a hard one.
right?
I'm split. I love traveling. I love meeting new people all the time. And I'm not one of those people that I am getting a little more attached to certain people in my life now. And I'm not just talking about one, but just, family, friends. But I've always had sort of a light connections. What I mean is like I could just drift off and meet new people. And it's like, now they're my best friends. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I actually like that. But of course, this is a fantasy scenario. It has to be because I'm like, how do you live? Well, right now, depending on what you do, some things are good. Like you can do a lot of things online, work-wise
Online.
and so on. So that's good. Because I'm thinking about this right now. Like how, but yeah, I'll just say off the top, I probably would want to move like that. But if I think about life, do I want to be married? Do I want to have kids? Are we working? We'd have to be working in a way that we can work from home. Yeah, I want to move around. Yeah, that's what I would
I
say.
think for me, I would pick moving to a new city every month just because I don't have any kids. If I had a child, then yes, I would stick with the same neighborhood and then just go on vacation and travel and explore. But if I had the option to do it right now, I would, because I feel like sometimes you get restricted in your neighborhood and sometimes you don't want to try different things. You don't want to experience new things. So I think it would be more of an experience for me to just try a thing, just
I'm the same way. For me, I feel kids or no kids, I'm going. Let's go. I'm gonna strap you onto my chest and let's rock because I don't know. I just feel like the thought of being in the same place with the same people for the rest of my life. I don't know. If you don't know anything different, then by all means, you don't know what you're missing. But because I know what traveling feels like, and I know what other cultures are like, and I know like all the beautiful places that there are in the world and stuff. Child, if I could afford to travel like that right now, I would be doing it.
What
So,
can you
100%.
imagine?
absolutely.
Girl, everybody's
What if
saying
you're a flight attendant and instead of stationing somewhere, you were just mobile?
that's true.
That could be a
That's
work.
true.
You
That
just
is
getting
so
all over
true.
the place, right? You rocking all over the world, right? And you just stay there at a month at a time, and you just settle in,
Right.
and then you move on.
Now,
Everybody pretty much had the same response saying that they would go
Yeah.
to a new city. I know that was the last question, but I do have a bonus question for you guys before we
Okay.
leave. You won $30 million. I know these lotto questions are very like intense. So you won $30 million. Your spouse was arrested. It cost $29 million to get them out, or they do 5 years in jail. Do you get them out or keep the money?
in my case, I'd have to get them out, man. But they might have to owe me some money still, especially if I know that they can. But because that jail thing, I've watched. There's too many shows right now, man. They mess up my mind, man. I don't want nobody in jail right now. I don't care. Like, I don't care if it's a lot of money. And of course, this is assuming this is a spouse that you really actually want to spend the rest of your life with. I'd have to spend that money, but I might be like, yo, like, you're gonna have to, like, you
How?
give
He's
me
gonna
back.
pay $29 million back?
Maybe not 29 million, but give me 10,000 or something, man. I can't leave someone in jail. I can't leave someone in jail. I'd have that money, and every day I'd be like feeling like crazy. And if it's your spouse, you're gonna have to visit them, unless you're just gonna just say, you know what, screw this, dude right now, he's treating me bad. If it's something like that and you already know you're leaving, well, yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. But
Depending
no,
on
I couldn't do that. Do you have kids? Like, there's so many
yeah,
questions.
depending on the crime, depends. Like if he
Oh,
was
wait. Did you say he committed a crime?
It's just it doesn't the question doesn't say specifically,
Okay.
but it says your spouse was arrested. It cost $29 million to get them out, or they have to do 5 years in jail. So I'm assuming that maybe this is the jail terms, like they have to pay something, and I don't know. I'm making
Depends
that part up.
that what they did, how that goes down. If they were falsely accused, I don't know. That does make a big difference.
Yeah, like if you're falsely accused, yeah, but if you did the crime, do the time, dude. Don't fucking ruin our fucking shit because you want to do fuckery. Because I always, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to do the fuckery, and I've warned you so many times, try do better.
No, that's
better,
different.
and you ended up being arrested, and I won $30 million, and you're gonna tell me you would want to ruin our children's future, even though $1 million is a lot of money. Like, but is it really a lot of money?
It's a house in Richmond Hill, girl.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nope.
Right? So I'm like, I would obviously put money in his canteen.
But I said put money in the canteen.
Or how about invest some of that money, flip it so you get some more money. He might have to wait a while in jail, but then maybe you could help him. But no, bail has a timeline, doesn't it? Bail has a timeline.
And I'm sure
you can always flip bail it. Bail is bail.
I'm sure you can flip your money. I'm sure you can flip it.
My spouse, if that's my ride or die, my spouse, he knows that he's doing that time, and we're gonna rock with the 30 million when he comes out. He knows what it is.
We have enough money to go to. We put you in counseling. He'll go to counseling. We have tons of money to pay for that 300 for every hour. It's okay. Go anytime you want. 10 times a day if you want. If you like, you can go.
True.
You see, again, it depends on what it is. Like, if it's on some like wrong shit, then yeah, I'm bailing my husband out. Like, I'm getting him out. But if we were running racket and he got catch, he knows what it is. We already discussed this. It. He knows.
Yeah.
But you know the scenario is messing us up. Excuse me.
I know, right?
Messing us up because 5 years, how much? $30 million bail. 5 years doesn't sound like a major crime, but that bail sounds like some major crime. That bail
also doesn't make sense because you wouldn't be paying $5,000, $5 million, whatever bail, and then automatically having to do 5 years. You still gotta go to trial after you bail out somebody. They still gotta go to trial. So the whole scenario is faulty.
Right?
It was just one of them scenarios, and I just gotta make a decision.
Right? You have to quick and fast. You have to explain to the person logically what you're doing. They may never they may not accept it. They may come out and dump you after, but at least what what you put out. So some of the comments were like, 5 years is not that long. Not long at all. But it says, could you pay for his mental health once he comes out? Junior says, leave them. My spouse will slap me for losing that much when they could have been home to more in 5 years. This one girl says, Cam says, see you in 5 years, babes.
Oh my God.
Someone said, drop a change punning books.
For real.
Yeah, so pretty much.
Yo, girls are savage nowadays. Like,
Junior says,
down cool.
Money's money, man.
You see how you guys got me? You got me in my feelings at the beginning, and then I have to realize that this isn't even a real scenario. Like,
It's not real.
Makes sense. I was so like, oh my gosh.
She's like, how could you do that to your husband?
Oh.
What?
I can't believe it. Trust me, these
just talking shit.
Personal. I remember last week we had a person. Which one was it that everybody was like going in and back and forth about the man, if he loved if he person, if you're cheating on this person, and then you tell the first woman that you're cheating on, but you don't tell the second one that you're cheating on them. Who do you love the most? That was like a big argument. People were like,
this is real life, guys. That's real life. That's why they freaked out like that.
Yeah,
that happens. Listen, I've been in a situation, the past, where that's kind of what happened. And I was like, nah, that's your girl. I'm not your girl. You're telling yourself that I'm your girl because it makes you feel better, but I'm not your girl. You're telling her more truth than you're telling me. And I know what people are saying, that you would protect the person that you love or whatever. But I'm like, you made a girl out of the girl that wasn't even a girl. You made that your girl. You know what I mean? So
that's the same thing, Tessa. Tessa's like, if you're lying to me, then you don't love me. You love her more. But I just
you're telling her the truth.
If he's lying to you, he loves you more because he don't want to hurt you. But he'll tell her, so she knows what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we want to do is have some people shout out where they're from online. We have a lot of people watching, tuning in. So you guys give us some shouts. Let us know where you're at before we sign off. We ran over the hour today. This was good.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conversation. But yeah, big up yourself in the comments if you give you a shout out.
Everybody, yeah, it's so nice. And it was nice. You're a nice guest. We've been getting some pretty good guests lately.
Yeah. We've had great guests on.
Thanks, guys.
You were nice. Great.
Yeah. And you know the thing too, Shelly, that we have somebody in common. My little brother.
Who's that?
My little brother knows you. I think you guys know each other.
Oh, should we talk about this now or after?
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Oh, listen, you even know my dad. My dad, you I think you performed with my dad, Notati. You guys performed before.
Okay, that's crazy because your brother actually shouted me out a few days ago. And I asked about your dad. I had no idea that you guys are related. Although your name has been around so much, I just feel like I know you. But I had no idea, actually. Same. So that's pretty shocking.
Right?
And that's yes, your brother, he's cute. That's all I'm going to say.
Don't don't make his head bigger.
I know, his head is done big already. Big,
amen.
It's huge. It's huge.
I know,
It's been that, but
Always,
Wow. Yes. That's crazy. We will talk. We'll talk.
World, girl.
Wow.
Toronto is small. Very small.
That's crazy. I'm just glad there's no crazy scandalous story behind that, and there isn't.
No, exactly. Just good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Long time. So we got Scarborough repping.
West Side
repping. What up?
Toronto.
ATL. I see ATL.
Yeah, wow.
Nice.
Jane Street. Big up Miss Miggs, cameraman. Miggs, who's Miggs?
Miggs. That's our cameraman.
What? Yo,
yes.
I think that cameraman is. I think you have some secrets about your life. I don't know. Who is Miggs? Who is this guy? Who is this guy?
Yeah, you know.
And why you calling? I don't know why Junior's calling Badlands, aka Brampton.
I see that.
Well,
Badlands, which part?
West Side, Canada. whatever that west side of Canada.
West
That could
side.
be that could be Calgary. I don't know.
I know. Is it like west side of the actual country, Canada, or
Yeah, that's what it says.
west side of the
Canada.
GTA?
Trying to do a
Jane,
west
Jane, from,
side Canada. I
from
don't know.
Jane. He's from Jane. He's from Jane.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
From the Jane
Nice.
Strip. Okay.
Big up.
Great.
Migs is the best. Excuse, apparently. Oh wow.
Okay.
Yes, he is. We already know.
He really is, and he honestly doesn't get it. Migs doesn't get the shout out that he actually deserves. He does an amazing job.
Because he's shy. He doesn't like the
Yeah.
big up, but he deserves it all.
So
He's
humble.
the best.
What? I never met somebody so humble before. But yeah,
You know
shout
what
out
I mean?
Migs. Even though I feel hurt that I didn't get the nickname
You
from
didn't know
him,
the
but it's
alias
okay.
to them.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll talk after this. And that's it, really.
Nice.
So we want to
Cool.
thank you for coming to our show and being our
Yes.
guest host.
Welcome.
It's been
You're
You're welcome
great having you.
anytime.
Yeah, let's do this again. I would love to. I love
Yes.
this. This is so fun.
And you guys
So
make sure you follow Shali and
Yes.
download her new single coming out on June 5th.
Yes.
Anything else you want to tell them where you're going to be? Now, do you have any like online events coming on or anything like that?
I've just been doing some live stuff. So this coming week, I'll actually be doing, I guess you could call it story time. And considering what I hinted at here, you might want to hear some things, but I'll basically be telling some pretty unbelievable stories about me that nobody on a grand scale has really ever heard. And, you know, people might ask me a few questions, I'm sure. So that's what I'll be doing this week.
And what platform is that going to be on? Your Instagram or your YouTube?
I'm usually doing my lives on Instagram. So tune in there. And if I do any more YouTube lives, then I'll definitely let you know. But Instagram is kind of my main hub. I
Yeah.
do have a Facebook, obviously, and I am on Twitter and YouTube as well as every platform that you can get music.
Just once, I'm gonna actually connect with you because once COVID is over, I actually work on a radio show, and I would love you to be a guest on one of any time. But once all this drama's down, I got you, girl. Yes,
I love this,
Nice.
and this is great. First, so I just want to say thank you because Black women uniting, you know, networking. You know what I mean? It's just wonderful, especially in Canada. Like we need this so bad. In some weird way, what's going on right now online for Canadians, Black Canadians, is actually pretty remarkable. Like I'm learning history that I never knew, you know, just watching things like this, you know, so.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And women in Toronto, Black women in Toronto, let's all support each other. Let's all love each other so we can all grow and be amazing.
Black people, let's do it. Fantastic. Thank you guys for joining us. I have to big up Markham. You don't know, rap, everybody in Markham. Stand up. Don't even give me no thumbs down. This is proud. Markham. Anyway, yeah. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Shali, for coming on the show, and wish you guys a good week. And
yes.
Be safe. Be safe. Be safe.
Bye.
See y'all next week.
There you go. Bye.